Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Mark's from TCG Discussions coming at the first place Cumber deck profile today from tonight's locals. We got these Demon Realm Race Soldier tokens, so we had to play the deck basically. This deck's like insane. It's honestly a top contending deck that I plan on playing for Minnesota. It's between this 21 and a couple other decks that I'm mulling over. I'm not sure exactly what I want to play yet, but I think that this deck has a lot of potential. Requires a lot of matchup knowledge and understanding, but I feel like you can take advantage of decks that have like slow starts by attacking them super early and really putting them on the back foot. So let's get into it. Cumber, we kind of know what this leader does by now. Has a awakened condition when you have a food battle card, which you basically guarantee to get yourself every turn. And then on this side, attack, draw, untap one, draw one to awaken, and then can give one of your cards servant, and then it lets you bottom deck cards because of Prison Planet. We all know what Prison Planet does, so yeah. Let's start off with our 1-drops. We play 4 Mai and a Vegito. So I decided to go with this lineup for several reasons. Number one, if you need good turn 1 plays for you to basically combo out. And this card is just basically a free energy. So you search it to your hand. And then your next turn, it's like your guaranteed charge. You don't worry about the fact that you're going to be in a bad position. You just, like, because of this card not being something else, you just basically get to add it to hand. In the matchups that are not Cumber, you basically get to draw a card by playing Mai, and then give them an auto that they can't resolve. So yeah, they can look through their deck for the Vegito, but it's not going to do them any good. And then we have to round that up with the complete obvious 4 Evil Sands for our 1-drops. We have 8 starters, which is really strong. You see this, you get the top 5 search. This open a bunch of super combos and basically kind of float for the game from the pressure you create with the other cards. So yeah, and I'll talk about that as we get more into the list. Next, obvious, obligatory 4 Trunks, and then obligatory 4 Vegeta. I think this is just standard. Trunks is insane again, top searcher for your cards, and this is basically live turn 2 is a free negate, which is just honestly nuts. It's honestly really good. Next, I kind of want to talk about these 2 cards in tandem because they're not played a lot, and I think this is like a difference maker for a lot of things. So when you take a look at the field of play right now, a lot of people are really not looking to close the game till about turn 4. And by turn 4, this deck can put your opponent in a really bad position because of these 2 cards. So for those of you who don't know, if your leader is Evil Saiyan or Cumber card, both black, and you have a Fu, see battle card in play, you reduce this cost of this card in your hand by 1 specified black. So this unison comes in for 1. And then it has a +2, limit 1 to choose up to one of your Evil Saint or Cumber cards, both black, and an energy cost of 6 or less, and it gains Servant. And so you can give this card Servant, and it becomes a 29k dual attacker on your opponent's, like, basically second turn, like their second energy, right? So if you play against 21, you can play this card, give their card Servant, and, you know, so if it's tapped for whatever reason or whatnot, you just basically dump on their life. You give this card 29k dual attack, and I can't stress enough how strong that is, because for 1 energy, you essentially draw a card and get 2 29k swings, which is nuts, and you're just getting a lot of value. Also, Fu Aquarium Flaming at 15k is also like no joke. Like, this is a 1-drop 15k that comes down, makes this 29k dual attack, and this card is a 15k swing. So on 2 energy, you can swing 4 times, and 2 of them are 29 damage. If your opponent has a battle card in play and they have 2, and you both have 2 more energy, and that is nuts. The pressure you get to put on slow decks is just really too good, and even against like aggro decks, you're better. Most aggro decks in the game do not put the same amount of pressure as your second turn can be if you see these 2 cards in any combination. And you consistently can see these cards because of the filter of your deck. So next we play 2 of the Son Goku. As time has gone on, I've really not liked this card as much for a number of reasons. The first is that while this card is basically a 1-drop 25k double striker, that's cool, right? It's really neat and nifty. The other issue is that the card itself just doesn't seem to have a lot of value outside of its combo pressure, and it doesn't really generate a whole lot of pressure like outside of that 1-drop play. It also you have to have 3 more energy to play the card from your hand, which is kind of nice, I guess, but also at the same time, you're kind of like, is a 29k dual attacker better than a 125k double strike swing? And the answer to that is yes, it is. It just is. It's going to cost your opponent more to protect damage, and it's more tax to stop. So I cut this card to 2, and I've seen it when I needed it, and it hasn't really hurt me since. Next, the ridiculous card, Fu Observing Overlord. I have no idea what they were thinking when they made this card, but this card's ability to play from your hand, if they have 2 more battle cards in play, and you have 2 more energy, you just basically get to draw a card, and then Overlord. And these Overlords can start to stack because it's an Overlord once per turn, not limit 1. So it's per copy, and the more these cards live, the better advantage you're just kind of get out of it when you start giving your opponent's card servant. And there's just not a lot to say other than that. Like, it's pretty crazy. It also, when like your opponent just like thinks that, oh, my cards are safe, haha, like you're not going to get rid of them, you just play this card from hand and say answer this card immediately or bust. Like, so it's really good. Next we play 2 Son Gohan Hostile Saiyan Encounter. Card's insane and bought out right now, oddly, but it's pretty good. You get to combo it in, it gets tap a black and warp something for less. This came up today against Exodia Gogeta. You saw this battle card for 15, and I was already awake, and so it's like 20, tap a black, warp your Z battle card, and then yeah, that just kind of went bye-bye. And then 4 Vegeta super combo. There's no reason to play any other super combo than this one. Yeah, even if you want to talk about the fact that like your Fuzi battle card is super good at facilitating the Cumber super combo, it's still not this one. This just does a lot for you. So yeah. Next we play 3 Spore of the Dark Empire. I went with a more defensive build on this. 3's pretty standard, but when you see my other negates, you'll kind of understand like what I'm talking about. We have 2 Petrification and 1 Protector of the People. Between the side swaps, Protector is just definitely like the first card that can be swapped out. And there's a couple other cards that I plan on mixing in and out. But Petrification, I think, is going to become a mainstay for me in the deck for a number of reasons. One, obviously, of what it does, ignoring barrier just like freezes a card, so it can't use it in combo, and negate its activated skills. So against Green Gohan, they're 8 drops. Like, as long as this card exists, just kind of like shuts the entire play down. And you can, when it loses barrier, you just bottom deck it and draw a card. And then Protector is good more against like aggro yellow, and it's definitely like a swap in that I would definitely look to do. But Petrification's nuts, and the fact that you get to essentially like play it dang near for free all the time, because the minuses you take from hand are just going to get replenished easy on your next turn, is really absurd. I have fat hands with this deck, like super duper fat hands, and I feel this deck like really addresses Green Gohan well as well, because their leader like SCR play, like, and then swing with like Goku to burn you just doesn't really happen so long as Petrification's a thing. In between your free Vegeta negate and your blocker negate, like, you're chilling. So yeah. Yeah, I'd probably swap this Protector for a third Petrification. Next, 2 Unexpected Turn and a Crack in Space-Time. We went with this lineup for obvious reasons. There's a lot of SCRs that this hits, and then a lot of other lower the ground cards that it also hits. So it's pretty good. And then Crack in Space-Time is just to make our leader swing like really strong. And then we can just like dump super combo on top of super combo on top of like combo cards into it, and basically say, nope, not gonna happen. Next, we play 1 Black Smoke. This card's definitely going to the side, like 100%. Like, I'm just gonna side this card, like, free. I don't, the barrier removal is nice, but I just, like, don't see, like, then, like, it being super important. And the next 3 8 drops. This card is just insane, because if your opponent's cards are not barrier, they're not untapping next turn, and this card is a draw card, dual attack, double striker for 2 energy. You can't beat that, and, you know, being a 35k dual attack, double strike is just super good, like, no matter what, just no matter what, it's, like, really good. And next, we play Golden Cooler. This card, if we see the card and we have 5 energy, it's almost an auto play. It just closes the game. You put so much pressure on your opponent early that if they think that like keeping their hand size high is like a good idea, this is the card that like shuts the entire play line down and just basically makes it so that like Golden Cooler is like super good. Moving on to our lovely tokens that we have. We got 4 of these. Shout outs to everybody who helped me trade for these at Goodlet, Tennessee. Hopefully see you next weekend in Minnesota. And then moving on, we've got Z Battle card, 2 Fu, and with that 2 of our Cumber Captive Fighters. No shocker here. If we need to replay Fu, we just want to have the Cumber there to be able to play. The fact that this card gets to give Servant on play and attack, and it's not once per turn, is like actually low-key kind of good, especially with a lot of your Fus. The card can get a lot of value at getting rid of your opponent's cards. And then 2 Majin Buu Pure Destroyers. We can combo a lot in the deck, so we'll just basically be trading cards out for whatever it is that we feel that we need to just get rid of their cards. It's also a blocker, and it gets huge. So, yep. Moving on the side is just definitely not complete, but there's a few cards that I want to talk about. So, Bark Tenacious, Overwhelm for 1, 25k, limits our opponent's block card swings, which can just be really impactful depending on like what kind of matchup we play. Like against yellow, this card's like really good. But yeah. 2 Deborah Ritual in hand for green. If the matchup wasn't already free, it gets really free really quickly. And I mean that like a lot. Like making me discard cards and me getting a free 15k body that draws 2 cards is just really good. We have so much free negation in the deck between like our Vegeta and our blocker negate that even if we tap out, we're still semi-safe, and our hand is huge. Like, just our hand is just going to be massive. Two of a card that I need to talk about. Evil Aura Overflow. This card has got to be one of the best, and I mean that, like, literally one of the best, like, counterplays in the game. It's an extra card, which means it's not going to get hit by battle cards. Furthermore, it is a card that blows out Android 21. So let me explain. Full power counter basically is not a thing. And why it's not is because if I swing, like, and I'll do this every time, right? Like the Cumber card that gets Servant is going to basically uptick itself to, it's going to be like 29, right? It'll be 29 the entire time. And, like, so attacking it without like a raw removal to the card, which if you spend your removal on my 1 energy 6 drop, that's fine. Like, I'll take that. But the raw removal of, like that card, it is just something that you basically are forced to do, because every turn that combo lives, like, you're spending a lot of cards. Like 25 is already a great number because it's a super combo and a 5k, right? That's basically what it's 29 is the same thing. So it's in the same ballpark of what you're always wanting. But when I go to swing and you activate like full power counter or something, some other negate, right? And it's a battle card negate or a battle card flood or whatever, this card is just bonkers. So what it does is it counterplays the card and plays it into your battle area instead with Servant. And all the autos will resolve on your side as well. So against full power counter, they tap 4 for whatever it is. And then they attempt to play the card, and then you play this, and basically they gave you a 35k double striker, which is pretty nifty. The only downside in the matchup is that now you have a green card. But this card hits 4 or less, which is why it's really important. And you just have to basically map and sequence really well to... but like this card just makes the thinking of what you have to do a lot easier. So, especially in the matchup. 2 Koitsukai, to punish yellow, basically. If I sat down against a yellow player, this card's coming in immediately. Another Black Smoke. Black Smoke is definitely coming to the side, so it is what it is. 2 Shin Noble Supremacies. This card is basically for Green Gohan, because for a 1-drop cantrip at 3 energy, I can basically say that the 8-drop doesn't work. And that takes a lot of the top end of the deck out. And just basically puts it in a really awkward position, because when you stop and think about it, like the 8-drop is like the primary play. They're looking to burn you and hit you with double strike and then give like a flex option with Gohan. But when you remove the play line entirely by saying like you can't even swing with the card, it makes playing the card even worse, because if they play the card, it's just probably going to get bottom decked and draw me a card. And furthermore, it just is basically securing that like your best cards just don't work, and buys me another turn. So you know, going basically into turn 3, if I see the card, I would probably just auto cast the card and then be like, yep, here we go. It's also not a bad cantrip draw card. Next is another one of my favorite cards, Ghost Warriors. This is mainly for 21, massive untap cards, but it's basically like all the cunning cards except for black. And then we play 2 Ultimate Duo Dragon Slaying Bullets. This is for unisons. I thoroughly believe that like this card's strength is not just in the fact that it counters unisons, but it has an activate main / battle. Your opponent chooses one of their battle cards with energy cost less than or equal to the number of cards in the drop area and sends that card to the war. Depending on the game state of what that is, that can literally just win the game on the spot. So, yeah. So that's it for the side deck. It's certainly not complete by any means, but there is a lot of good things going for this deck. There's definitely some fine tuning that I need to do. There's a lot of cards, I think like 3 or 4 cards in the main deck that I would swap out for other cards. Just to 1, give me a little bit more defense, but 2, to give me some consistency in what I want to do, and make my plays accordingly, and just basically account and adjust for what I need to continue to be aggressive. But I really like the deck a lot. I think that it's like super good. The deck is missing a little bit of something, like barrier removal is like kind of a problem. So if the cards that do have like barrier, like Cooler is like one of the main only outs in the deck. But other than that, like getting around it is one of the things I like about Petrification. Like as a negate, like it can just turn autos off, which is something I'm definitely probably gonna like move Protector and then increase Petrification. So yeah. But yeah, that pretty much does it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and this is Marcus from TCG Discussions signing off. Laters.